Man, that was some quick turnaround. So Fester fires off an email to Patrick DeHaan from GasBuddy.com because we had some questions about the data and how you get a list of the most aggressive holiday drivers. And on the top 10 list, Tampa Bay area, Tampa St. Pete comes in at number 8 on the list. And boom, like that, Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy answers us right away. He's on the hotline. Patrick, welcome to the MJ Morning Show. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You know, we see you on Fox, we see you on CNN. I mean, you seem to be the go-to guy on gas issues. Did you see the story that Orlando, the airport, was running out of jet fuel and that they had to cancel some flights?
You know, I got into it a little bit with some guy that calls himself an airline expert,
right?
Because he has some sources at American, and you know, it's really interesting. Because those of you in Tampa know Port Tampa handles a lot of the gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel that comes into the area.
Yep.
So, you know, Houston Ship Channel, some of the refiners in the Gulf Coast, some of those ship channels were shut for fog. So just goes to show that, maybe not as much like jet fuel, but gasoline is very much just in time as well, right? That is, there's not this infinite amount of storage that we draw down on, like when the Colonial Pipeline happened. So things have eased up now. The products are moving into the port, and they're getting shipped in the pipeline from Tampa to Orlando, and now things are improving.
But I saw that on Monday, I think like 4 flights were canceled, a couple were delayed, and the warning went out to the airlines for the airport, make sure you have enough fuel to get out,
Yeah. And thankfully airlines are kind of used to this. In fact, with the year it's kind of been this term, probably something not many people have heard about, tankering. Planes basically fill up completely full. My wife was in Orlando. Her plane from Chicago flew down with a full tank, and it can make it both ways. Now, you did see some cancellations because some of these flights may be wide-body aircraft, right, that fly overseas, and they need a lot of fuel, and that's not really possible.
Yeah, I mean, you get a heavy, you get a 787, you get an Airbus 330 or a 767-400. You get one of those coming in from overseas. Obviously, their tanks are going to be pretty much depleted when they land. They need to gas up to get out.
In some cases, yeah, absolutely. But some of those still have an 8,000-mile range or so. So it's certainly dependent on the airline. But, yeah, it's tough to do. And we saw airlines basically doing that earlier this year because jet fuel in the Northeast was like $6 or $7 a gallon. So a lot of the jets that were running between, say, Chicago or Florida and New York were probably taking as much fuel with them so that they didn't have to buy as much of that expensive fuel in the Northeast.
And then a lot of times the airlines like to run as light as possible because heavier planes mean more fuel burn, and that typically is more expensive. Hey, so Patrick, the reason why we have you on is I'm holding the list of the most aggressive holiday drivers. And, I said, listen, this is good stuff. We like Gas Buddy. We use the website quite a bit. I'm wondering, listen, how do you get the data? How do you put together a top 10 list of the most aggressive drivers, including braking or hard braking, speeding, rapid acceleration? How do you put all these data points together to come up with a top 10 list?
Well, I was going to look at the methodology because earlier this year I had moved down to Tampa for a month, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't skewing the data when I lived in Tampa for a month because, traffic was pretty heavy. But how we get this is there's a feature in the Gas Buddy app because Gas Buddy is all about saving you money at the pump.
Yep.
And in turn, we try to help you drive more fuel efficiently. So one of the features that you can sign up for in the app is to basically help tell you, hey, you could use some improvement here. You're really depleting your fuel efficiency by using your cell phone, right, the accelerometer. And so you can opt into this feature where if you accelerate too quickly or hard or brake too hard or speed that the app says, hey, you know what, you're probably reducing your fuel efficiency 25% because when gas was $4 and $5, that 25% is like spending an extra $1 a gallon. Nobody wants to do that.
I just read this story. I just read the headline. I glanced at it, but now this is starting to make sense that if you drive around with a half full bowl of water in your car, that it helps you save on gas.
Have you heard of that, Patrick?
Well, I haven't, but I'm wondering if,
Hold on. Did you say you have or you haven't?
Haven't.
Water spill.
Hold on.
I have not.
Okay,
no.
you haven't. All right. So Roxanne mentioned this to me earlier this morning.
What?
Roxanne brought me.
Yeah.
Roxanne brings me a story. If you want to save on gas, drive around with a half full bowl of water in your car. And Patrick, you got it. The theory here is you never want any of the water to spill out of the bowl into the car. And if you drive without spilling the water, then theoretically you're driving less aggressively. You're not mashing down the accelerator. You're not hard braking. And you're saving fuel by driving more in that sweet spot and, limiting the fuel burn.
You know, it's amazing that Fred Flintstone must have come up with that back in the day before cell phones.
That's the original gas
Just
buddy.
imagine it with a half bowl of water and his yabba dabba doo, and the feet, he didn't want to have to eat too much dinner, so there you go.
All right. So the top 10 list I mentioned, the top 10 most aggressive cities. Number 10 is Memphis, then Salt Lake, Tampa, St. Petersburg at 8, Oklahoma City, Richmond, Birmingham, Orlando's number 4, Nashville number 3, Jacksonville number 2, Tucson, Arizona number 1, 3 Florida cities on the list. I'm surprised that Miami, Fort Lauderdale's not on there because, man, that is a circus driving down there. And it's no treat here in the Tampa Bay area. We have some aggressive stuff going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you notice a trend here. Some of these destinations are warmer weather, and Florida as well. And when I was in Tampa, I mean, I feel for the Floridians that are seeing all these folks move down. Their populations are booming, and the roads just aren't expanding as quickly. So there's traffic, there's stress, there's slow people in the left lane that don't move over. And what does that do? Well, it's frustrating. You try to get around them, and boom, your phone goes off and says, take a chill pill, right?
All right, so the accelerometer feature, you can opt in on the Gas Buddy app, and that's where the data is coming from on acceleration and hard braking. Now, what brought you to the Tampa Bay area for a month?
The beauty. It was perfect weather. I had to get out of Chicago.
When were you here? When were you in town?
I was down for much of the past February through March. I mean, really the worst days to be in Chicago. So
Oh, wow.
Are you coming back
come
this
down
year?
again? But
Are you coming back?
yeah, I hope to. But man, those rents.
That's another thing. The rents here in Florida, especially in the Tampa Bay area, you might want to do a list on this. Rents in the Tampa Bay area have skyrocketed.
Oh, yeah.
And our rents have gone up higher on average than many other cities in the country. Rents are out of control. This area is booming. It's always been, like a top, 15 market, medium market. What are we like? Market number, I don't know.
Well, it's
12,
different for
13,
television and radio. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, but this is a large market, and it's only getting bigger. The number of people that are moving here from the Northeast and the Midwest. So I mean, a lot of folks are coming down. Hey, Patrick, if you come on down, send us a note and let us know. We'll have you in the studio.
I'll do that, and maybe we can live stream some of the naughtiest driving because I'm one of these folks that if you're in the left lane, stay right, please. Stay in the right.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, give us a call when you get down here, man. It'd be great to see you.
Yeah, you ought to see Fester on the Howard Franklin Bridge, I-275, coming in at 5:30 in the morning. He just cruises at 45 miles an hour in the left lane.
Dude,
It's a pimp ride.
Yeah, I have one of the most fuel-efficient vehicles ever. I have the 2004 Lincoln Town Car V8. And
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, you must be real happy then about what's going on at the pump.
So in the Tampa Bay area, Patrick, I've seen gas prices for the first time consistently stay below $3 a gallon.
I paid $2.92 at Walmart on Dale Mabry and I-275 yesterday.
And that just happened over the last couple of days.
Yep.
And the Costco in Clearwater is at $2.72.
There you go. Now, I am a Costco member, but, I got to be near the Costco, Clearwater location.
Yeah, that's kind of out there.
Yes. I mean, because I live in South Tampa, and, and I do go to the Costco. I go to the Costco sometimes in Clearwater. What about the Costco up off of Linebaugh? The other Costco.
Yeah, I go to that one.
Yeah, that's your Costco. What's the price there, Patrick?
I'm quickly trying to pull it up here, and I'm scrambling, but I don't have it. I'm going to bet you it's probably somewhere in the 270s or 280s.
Yeah, probably should be.
Probably 280s.
Probably somewhat similar. Hey, Patrick the Han Gas Buddy, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
MJ, you're
bye-bye.
talking to Patrick like he has every gas price memorized across the country. How much is the one near my house?
Listen, he knew that it was $2.72 at the Costco on US 19.
He doesn't have them all
and Gulf to
memorized.
Bay.
All right. That's cool. Thanks, Patrick.